Hey everyone, you're listening to Party Time, My Golf Story with Kevin Walsh, and whatever special guest he has today, you can check me out on episode 9 of the podcast. Today I'm wearing Grayson clothes while I'm out practicing because I believe in look good, play good, and follow me on Instagram, Sophia Warren Golf, and hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
It's Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by Party Drinks. Classically designed golf drinks for golfers by golfers. And the golf real estate pros Gene Walsh and Vince Visicaro. For your Southwest Florida real estate needs, check them out at suncoastdreams.com. Now here's your host, Kevin Walsh.
Hey everybody, welcome to the program. This is part one of a two-part thing with Jeff Metzgar. Who is Jeff Metzgar? When we started Party Time, My Golf Story, a little more than 2 years ago, it was our goal to find interesting people with interesting stories to tell. And even if you don't know who Jeff Metzgar is, when you find out this golf odyssey that he has been on for years, I mean years, his attempt to play the top 100 courses in America, and he's on 99. One more course to go. How did this all come together? What was the genesis? Where's he been along the way? People he's met and all this stuff. It's fascinating. He's very enthusiastic about life, loves golf, loves connecting with people. And I think you're really going to enjoy the conversation. Hey, if you have not subscribed to the podcast, would you please do so? That's important to our sponsors. Also helps with the algorithms on YouTube, of course. That is the king, but also Spotify and Apple. Leave a 5-star comment and share the podcast with a friend because that helps our sponsors out a lot. Big thanks to Party Drinks, the title sponsor of Party Time, My Golf Story. If you're looking for a drink alternative on the golf course, try a Party. And a new flavor, by the way, Water Hazard. Keep an eye on Water Hazard. That is available now. Now, if you don't have Party at your place, it's where you play golf, then get in touch with the pro shop staff or the beverage staff and say, hey, we need Party right here. Paradise Craft Distributors is the exclusive distributor of Party drinks across the state of Florida. If golf real estate is in your plans and it's a good time to buy, nobody better than the Golf Real Estate Pros, located at Lakewood National Golf Club in the greater Sarasota area, where this podcast originates from. Gene Walsh, Samantha Walsh, and Vince Visicaro from suncoastdreams.com have you covered, a division of fine properties. And if all that golf as you're tired out, then by all means go to BioLit Spa in downtown Sarasota. Get a massage, red light therapy, cold water plunge, hot tub, something like that to get you recharged for the next time around. Jeff Metzgar, I haven't seen you in a couple of years, and your name came up in conversation by Andrew McCabe, who's a mutual friend of ours, and he said, you got to get in touch with Jeff Metzgar. He said, because he's at 99 on this quest for 100 golf courses. And so here we are. But I remember years ago, I've caddied for you a couple times at Wellesley Country Club. By the way, was I like the worst caddy you ever had? Be honest.
I'll put you in the top 10 list, maybe the top 5.
You don't have to lie. If the reads were awful, if the yardages were bad, you could just say it. But I know you love caddies, and we're going to talk because they were a big part of this journey you've been on for a little bit. But first of all, just first things first, where are you joining us from now?
I'm talking to you from Naples, Florida. So it's my winter home. Came down here a few years ago, growing up in Erie, Pennsylvania, going to school undergrad in Cleveland and living in Boston. I finally said enough with the cold winter. So I'm spending some nice warm weather down here.
So you are a true snowbird. All right. Enough of the cold weather. And for me, more than anything, I mean, the weather's great. And it's not that I miss the snow. I don't miss the snow. But you know what really chapped my Ocole? It was leaves. Doing the leaves. I mean, that was relentless for like 3 months. But those days are gone. Jeff, now, just for you, I made sure to wear some particular logos. Do you recognize this? What are we talking about here?
I love the Wellesley Country Club logo. My home course back in Boston. I've been a member there since 1995, and great connection. Donald Ross built the first 9 holes, 1910. Jeffrey Cornish completed the course in 1960, and I've been a member for the last 31 years and loving every minute of it. Great course. We've hosted 3 Mass Opens, the Women's U.S. Senior Amateur. Wonderful course with a lot of land for a landlocked course built 116 years ago. We stretched it out to 7,000 yards at par 70 at the tips, which is nice.
Well, the best part about the place, the facilities are fantastic, but really what it comes down to is the people. The people are so good there. Just solid people. And it's almost like it's an oasis. And it's just like, just be yourself. We don't care who you are, what you got. It's just like, just have a good time. And everybody does. And everybody treated me good, even though I wasn't an employee. I was a caddy. I was an independent contractor, but I'm very appreciative of how people treated me there. And I have some dear friends that I still keep in touch with to this day that have been helpful to me in my life. And I know the story of your life professionally, but on this Golf Odyssey has really come down to connecting with people. Now, I asked you about the logos, and I know you have an eye for logos. How has that helped you get to some of the places that you had to get to, but maybe before you started it, you never dreamed you'd get there?
Yeah, great question, Kevin. No, it's interesting. I have this knack. I've memorized every NCAA basketball champion since 1939. I don't know how my brain works, but it's great during March Madness because I'll always win free beers at a bar because somebody will challenge me and say, you can't name all of the teams since 1939. And I can. And I have that same affinity with golf logos. It's interesting how the clubs connect. The logo that you're wearing, in fact, we have 2 logos. One is a horse and carriage. And because Wellesley, Massachusetts and Western Massachusetts were carriage towns back in the day when people left Boston and made their pilgrimages to Connecticut and New York, they stopped in Wellesley as a carriage town. And that was our original logo. And then one of the members, about 15 years ago, found the original logo that you see that you're wearing on your hat and on your shirt with the WCC, which was actually a bowl, and it was a flower bowl, and orchids were filled in there during the Adams Bowl that we had for our member guest tournament. So it was the original logo that they lost, brought it back, but it's a cool logo, simple, distinct, and with the year 1910 when our course was founded.
Well, the thing I like about logos is they're such good conversation starters. I see people with logos that I recognize, and I tell them I do, and we're off and going. Same for you?
Yeah, it's tremendous. I think there's different types of communication. There's verbal, there's nonverbal, but in the golf world, I've met more people walking up to them at airports, at golf clubs, and say, "Hey, I know that logo." And when the few times I don't know a logo, I'll approach somebody. I'm not afraid to talk to anybody. And I'll say, "Hey, I'm not familiar with that logo. Tell me where it's from and what the history of that logo is." And I try to put it to memory. And it's just, it's a great icebreaker. It's funny, just a couple of weeks ago, I was in an airport in Cleveland. I travel a lot for work. I'm on a plane probably every week, at least 40 weeks a year anyhow. And saw somebody with a logo from Royal Dornoch. And I walked up to him and I said, "Second greatest golf club in the world." And he said, "Second? What would be the first?" And I said, "In my humble opinion, Pine Valley." And he said, "Have you played it?" And I said, "I was fortunate, and I've been fortunate to play Pine Valley 25 times." And it took one conversation from one logo. Turns out this gentleman is from Tampa. He is an architect. He designed the golf league arena where they play the golf league tournament. And he said, "Jeff, I'd love to have you play at my course. We could play any of the courses that TGL plays, and I can set it up to play any course that you'd like, but that's what I do." And so if you weren't wearing that shirt, we don't have this conversation, and we don't have a new friend in the making. So it's been great.
Yes, and not only is it a conversation starter, but you're in welcome company, and so you could bust his balls like right away, and it'd be well received, and he can reciprocate with that. Yes,
exactly. It's amazing. I have great respect for for people who not only join these clubs, but have an affinity, the fraternity for golf is amazing. I think that's one of the things I've learned. I was an athlete my whole life. I played high school basketball for a nationally ranked team. My humble brag to my children I have 5 kids, is that Kobe Bryant and your father both have a gold medal from winning the Pennsylvania State Basketball Championship at the highest level. We just took different career paths after our basketball careers were done. And so it's been nice to see this fraternity of golf where, similar to sports, there's a connection, there's a camaraderie, and there's a common language, a common bond when you're talking to the game. And again, talking about the logos, it's great to see this logo connecting. And when I travel, I will approach anybody in an airport and have a great conversation. And it's very disarming. People aren't afraid to talk about their course. Oh, that's where you're from and what club you belong to. And boy, the conversations take different paths. It's terrific from there.
Well, let's talk about that logo on your left breast, because I recognize it. And maybe there's a little inside baseball, something we can learn about the logos and the merchandise that guests can buy and what members have. So why don't you tell the Pine Valley story?
Well, it's a great way to talk about the fact that my fashion is connected with logos. And I don't buy a lot of clothes, but I do buy a lot of golf clothes if I can separate the two. And Pine Valley, in my opinion, is the greatest golf course that God's ever made. And if you look at the logo, it says the name Pine Valley underneath the shield. And if you're a member of Pine Valley, you don't have the name Pine Valley underneath the logo. And so when you're at the club, you can tell who the members are versus who the guests are. And it's kind of a subtle way of distinguishing who the people are that are hosting these gracious guests to play their wonderful course.
Yeah, I think it's cool. So give me your top 3 logos in America.
Top 3, that's a great question. I would say Sandhills in Mullen, Nebraska is pretty cool because it's branded. It was on a cattle ranch, and I actually met the 2 cattle farmers who were instrumental in the early days of the Core Crenshaw design. And it just has an S and an H. That's pretty cool. Fisher's Island off of the coast of Connecticut. And I always joke with my friends from New York. I said, New York getting Manhattan from the Indians wasn't the biggest steal ever. It was the fact that New York got Fisher's Island when it's closer to Connecticut. It's hard to believe that Connecticut didn't get Fisher's Island, but it's the island with a flag there. Great logo. But my favorite logo of all is Wingfoot. It's just cool. It's got the wings, it's got the foot, it's got the cross golf clubs, and you're saying, okay, that is a golf. That's the quintessential one in my book. And there's so many great ones. I don't want to leave anyone out, but Miriam's great with the wicker basket and the story behind that. It's wonderful. Even Augusta, as simple as it is, it's a subtle way of saying it's an outline of the United States with the flag there, as the epicenter of the world. But very cool.
It says a lot in a little. A good logo should. It doesn't need to be too busy and everything. My top 3, 2 in Massachusetts, Myopia Hunt and Golf Club. Okay, with the Fox and the Bugle, fantastic. Salem Country Club, the Witch on the Broom, just owning all that bad history for the marketing of it.
It is
so cool. And Sandwich Country Club in Connecticut kind of rips it off. But the Witch is flying the flagstick, not a broomstick, and in reverse. That's good. That's not on my top 3. Philadelphia Cricket Club is my favorite with the Indian head. It's got the coup stick or it's got the stimp meter and the cross thing. I see that. I love it. So well, let's go back to the beginning because we didn't say, how did this start? It's not like you just woke up one day and said, yeah, I think I want to play the top 100 courses in America. Somebody pushed you into it. What happened?
They did. I was actually having a team meeting for work. My marketing manager, who I've known for a long time, we grew up in Erie, Pennsylvania together, and we connected through our company, Hammer Mill Paper Company, which became International Paper, then now Sovamo. And we were in a team meeting in 2001, and in this team building meeting, she came up to me and she presented me with this plaque, and this plaque was phenomenal. It was a wooden plaque with brass background. And she said, Jeff, she said, Mr. Accomplisher, she said, these are the top 100 golf courses in the United States. I'm challenging you to see if you can play all of these 100. And they had these green push pins. So I'm at the meeting and I probably had 6 or 7 of the courses I had played already. So I started putting these push pins in and I said, give me 20 years, give me 25 years. I'm going to knock these out. And so that was the genesis of the plan where I said, it's not going to be a sprint for a lot of reasons that you don't have the connections to play the top 100 golf courses and do it immediately. And coming from Boston and my whole adult life being from Boston, I've been to the Boston Marathon a number of times. I've walked the course twice because I can't run it, but I've walked it twice. And they said, this is going to be a marathon and I'm going to plan this out. I'm going to try to play 4 to 5 courses a year. And then when I play these 4 to 5 courses after 20, 25 years, I'm going to get the 100 down. And so that seed was planted by her at that meeting as a kind of a fun jest, because just give me a shot to say, I challenge you to do this. And like anything, I'm a very competitive person. I said, I accept the challenge. And so little by little, I started formulating a plan. And I think one of the greatest gifts that I've been given is I'm a connector, whether it's in business or work or my team sports or now this golf journey, is that I've been able to connect with people literally all around the world. My list is from the top 100. I have 63 of the top 100 on the current list in the world, but I've been able to meet with people. And then once they hear about the journey, it's amazing how people want to help you out. And it's just, I was never in a fraternity in college because I played basketball and my basketball and academics consumed me. But that journey started with people saying, I'll help you connect. And it's been wonderful.
It sounds like a rising tide. People want to help. It reminds me of the boating community. Like if you got a problem with your boat and you're out at sea, everybody's coming to help. And because they know at some point that might be them too. And they're kind as well. Jeff Metzgar is our guest here on Party Time, My Golf Story. He is on an odyssey to play the 100 top golf courses in America, and he's at 99 right now. I caddied for Jeff in the past at Wellesley Country Club, and his story is fascinating. By the way, if you're looking for a drink alternative on the golf course, try a Party. It's better than the hard seltzers and beer or whatever else that you're drinking. And if you don't have it at your golf course, get in touch with the beverage staff or the pro shop staff and say, we need Party here. Water Hazard, now available. If golf real estate is in your plans, no better time to buy and no better place than Lakewood National Golf Club in greater Sarasota area. SuncoastDreams.com. Gene Walsh, Vince Vizzacaro, and Samantha Walsh from SuncoastDreams.com have you covered. If all that golf's got you tuckered out, go to BioLit Spa in downtown Sarasota. Jeff, tell me this. So you're America's guest, but yes, with that comes a responsibility and maybe a certain protocol to do it right so you don't come across as a mooch. How do you do it?
Yeah, that's great. I'm going to drop back 1 second too. I played golf on Sunday and I did have my first water hazard from Party. So I just want to echo your comments about that. It was fabulous. So, but as far as my golf connections, and I always proud to say, I wasn't born on third base. I caddied for 8 years. I got into the game. My dad bought me clubs. Santa Claus bought my brother and me clubs when we were little. Then my dad paid for a $35 a year public golf course membership, and we got into the game a little bit. But football and basketball consumed us when we were younger, and so I didn't need to get into golf later. And then when I started working, I realized that everybody I worked with was a golfer, and in our offices in Boston, we had phenomenal golfers, of which I was not one of them. And so I remember walking into the president of our company's office. This goes back almost 40 years. And I said, Bruce, I have a question. I said, why did you hire me? He said, why did we hire you? Jeff, you're our biggest producer. What do you mean, why did we hire you? I said, everybody here golfs. I don't golf. I couldn't break 100 if you paid me $1 million. And I said, that's why I'm asking. He said, well, I know you and I know your personality. And I said, just be the nice guy that you are and play fast, and you'll have more golf invitations than you'll ever know what to do with. And he knew more about my personality than that I knew about myself. And that's probably why he was the president of the company. He was a tremendous guy. He was a great golfer himself. But we had multiple club champions from multiple clubs in the area, including Wellesley, not me, but and several of the clubs in the area. And And so when I started this quest and started playing, I kept in mind that, I couldn't break 100 when I started. My handicap went down as low as 9.8. That was my personal best. And I noticed if you played fast and you were a good guy, invitations seemed to come more frequently than the people that didn't play fast and weren't a good guy. And so I started playing with people, a lot of them who were much better caliber, better handicap players than I was. But I kept up. I was a good guy, and I got the invitations. And so one of the watershed moments, I had many watershed moments on this quest. I was playing at Blue Hill Country Club in Canton in a paper trade meeting, and the guy I'm randomly paired with was a phenomenal golfer. I'm watching him in awe. We're on the last hole. He's 150 yards away. He's in a sand trap. He hits the ball with a 7-iron to a foot. And I said, "Oh my God, you have a great game." He said, "Yeah, Jeff, I grew up on a golf course. My dad's a 3-time club champion at Winged Foot, and I play a lot of golf." And I said, "I'd love to have you at my club." And so this started a journey playing Winged Foot. Maybe that's why I like that logo so well, since you asked me that question a little while ago. But that struck up a friendship. And when I got invited, it became immediately in disgust to say, "Hey, I want to pay my way. And I know you're offering to host me, but I will pay my way." And that way it takes the burden off the host, because golf is an expensive sport, right? You're taking 3 guys to play golf. You're having dinner. You're talking, it could be over $1,000 depending on the course you're at. And so my motto has always been, I'm America's guest, but I'm not America's freeloader. And so yes, I played Pine Valley 25 times. I played all these top courses, and some of them multiple times. And my host, I've always said the following: I will pay for my round. I will pay for my caddy. And if you can't accept that, then you must play my course where I will host you. And if we can't, then I'd prefer not to play, because I don't want to make it an uncomfortable experience for you to have to pay. And now, listen, there's a lot of people that have hosted me that are incredibly wealthy. And I think they respect the fact that, to your point, in your definition, not a mooch, I don't want to be America's freeloader. I want to be America's guest. And I'm gracious and I'm thankful for the opportunity, because I know a privileged few have had the opportunity to do this. And I don't know what the percentage is of people who played the top 100. I know it's very small, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity.
Always offering to pay goes a long way, because it's a level of respect. It demonstrates decency on your part, and then the offer to reciprocate. I mean, that's how it works, I think. And your story and how you do it kind of reminds me of John Smoltz, who is truly America's guest, because yes. John did it just the way you did. I mean, there was no place that he couldn't play, because he had name recognition for one. Great all-time great pitcher for the Braves and for the Red Sox briefly. Yep. He had the means to cover all the costs, and then he offered tickets to people, and there was no place that he couldn't. And aside from that, he was a great guy, and he was a good player. So that's a good roadmap to follow. Jeff, I just feel like we're kind of scratching the surface here. Why don't we call it a night for this one? But would you mind coming back at another time, and we'll do part 2, and we'll get into some of the places that you've been and how you got there. Are you good with that?
Love to. That'd be great, Kevin. Thank you. Thanks for the time. It's wonderful.
Yes, it sure is. Jeff Metzgar has been our guest here on Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by Party Drinks, the real estate pros of Gene Walsh, Vince Visicaro, and Samantha Walsh, suncoastdreams.com, and BioLit Spa in downtown Sarasota. Part 2 with Jeff coming up next edition. But for now, for Jeff Metzgar, I'm Kevin Walsh. We'll see you again next time on Party Time, My Golf Story.
You've been listening to It's Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by Party Drinks. Classically designed golf drinks for golfers by golfers, and the golf real estate pros Gene Walsh and Vince Visicaro. For your Southwest Florida real estate needs, check them out at suncoastdreams.com or call 941-220-4000.